if anybody's ever read any H.P. Lovecraft with his old racist ass, well, you really can't say that without saying that.
Especially when you see that picture of him.
He's looking at a black person. Right, man, he's calling me the N-word right now.
Exactly.
I heard you, Corey. I might be dead, but I heard you.
You may not like the poem, but you know it's true.
Let's see what we got here. All right, folks, let's go ahead and talk about some of the things we got going on today. Let's start out with our review. Hey, you know, it is Halloween right now, or Halloween is quickly approaching. At the time of this recording, we are less than 24 hours away from the big Halloweeny day. And during that time, of course, people love to watch the spooky stuff out there. You know, all the horror movies, whether they be made for kids or for the adults, you got the specials that have been legendary. They're still watching, still people putting those things on. But let's talk about one format in particular right here. So one of the things that is keeping the anthology format so popular is, and say it with me, y'all, horror. And y'all know this because if you like me, every year you're putting on one of these things. It's just part of your Halloween ritual. You know, every year I put on Creep Show, and then you got things like Trick or Treat right here. Of course, Tales from the Crypt. Everybody, you know, Crypt Keeper's everybody's boy, man.
Sure.
Everybody love the Crypt Keeper, man.
Some people keep trying to imitate him.
Hell yeah. You have those right there, all the way to things like The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Mm-hmm. They got a new one I want to watch this year because they have an anime episode now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, like big takeoff on Death Note. Yeah, man. You know, I love all of these, man. Which is why I thought we spend some time talking about the latest horror anthology that is on Netflix, brought to you by Mr. Guillermo del Toro, Cabinet of Curiosities.
That's a cabinet.
Well, we about to get high with Guillermo del Toro, man.
The cabinet is monsters. The cabinet,
Hey, who wants to do some mushrooms? Hey,
it's fun.
who wants to do mushrooms? Talk about monsters. Hey, sure, man.
There's a void inside of me, inside of everyone.
Inside that afro too. Yeah, as you can see, a lot of people in here, man. A very interesting cast that you've seen so far. Eric Andre, I was actually curious to see what he would do with this, man. How did he do? Well, let's keep watching.
Me, inside of everyone. Welcome to my Cabinet of Curiosities.
Besides it being Halloween, one of the other main reasons I want to watch this, because a lot of people are asking, you know, what do you guys think about this? Have you seen it? This is something that seems like you would like. Well, if you said that, then you would be correct about me. The reason why I want to see this is because Guillermo del Toro, he actually last year, was it last year? I think he made this last year.
Yes.
Nightmare Alley?
Yeah, he made one of my, what I thought was a perfect film last year, Nightmare Alley.
Can you read minds?
Yes, I can, under the right circumstances.
Keep your answers brief.
What do I want?
Thing with this movie is that this was not a horror movie, despite the title.
Marketing.
And the marketing was bad, and a lot of people, they think that that's them marketing this as a horror film, and it's not a horror film. That's what lent to the box office failure of this. That's why Guillermo del Toro is here saying, well, I got something for your ass now. You know, see, y'all wanted some horror? Good.
Horror? I got horror.
I got 8 hours of horror right
And the cabinet is filled with horror.
Yes. So now he has a legitimate horror, not movie, but series right here. Or maybe little mini movies, if you want to look at it that way, done by different directors, with stories taken from different writers. And you know, this man is, that's another reason I want to check this out because, again, you know, even though the last movie wasn't horror, I mean, if anybody's going to do a bunch of horror stories or produce them or present them, most of these dealing with creatures at the end, it would be Guillermo del Toro with this right here. He loves monsters, man. Shit, Martin almost died in his home. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
I mean, we thought, I'm exaggerating, but shit, it felt like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Martin and I was snooping around like
in the upstairs.
Yeah, Martin, this is no bullshit. Martin and I were in Guillermo del Toro's home. We went snooping around like Shaggy and Scooby and shit, And we got trapped in the attic up there, and the attic was full of creatures.
Yeah, it looked like that room in The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They look like a goddamn spook house up there, man. He had all these creatures and figurines and life-size monsters and shit.
Yeah, masks and props.
Yeah. And I looked at Martin like, let's get out of here, man.
This might be one of those shorts.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah. And we would have, hey, you know what? We deserved it for snooping around.
Right.
It'd been one of those masks.
That's how much this dude loves horror. He has a whole creature room, or had in his house here in Austin, which he doesn't live in anymore, of course. Well, I hope one of those creatures he left behind, or the new people found it.
Like Krampus or something.
Yeah, man. But I tell you, being that this is an anthology, Guillermo del Toro, he's taken a lot of inspiration from a lot of other anthologies out there. Now, I mentioned the other anthologies, Tales from the Crypt and Trick or Treat Creep Show, even Simpsons, man. But this also has a large dose of some of those old school anthologies where the host would come out and present. It wasn't like your boy the Crypt Keeper who came out and his hair was all uncombed and shit, and he didn't care about it any which way he came out looking, got jokes. No, this is back in the day when people introduced anthologies with class, man. They came out with a suit. Mm-hmm. They came out, I'm serious with this shit. You know what I'm talking about? Things like The Twilight Zone or Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And, like I said, this is where the host comes out.
It's funny. I thought of Night Gallery.
Oh, well, I'm getting to that in a little bit. But this is where the host comes out to present each segment. And even if they're doing something funny, they still came out and did it with style.
Good evening.
He always did this.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Do you believe in ghosts and television broadcasting?
And you can see people have more of a budget these days too. Bad, those terrible special effects up there. But that was Alfred Hitchcock who would come out and introduce every show. He had that suit on, and even though he's making a joke, he would be very straight faced and serious about this. But this right here being a horror anthology, it really does have more in common, mostly with a show that Rod Serling did, the guy who hosted The Twilight Zone, created The Twilight Zone, presented The Twilight Zone. He also did another show called Night Gallery. You see this scary shit right here? But, yeah, you come out with a whole gallery of paintings, and each one of them had some sort of like really creepy theme going on, really scary images, and there would be stories based on every image that you saw.
Welcome, art lovers. We offer for your approval a still life, if you will, of noise. An unmuted practitioner of fishwifery.
People always ask, like, did he ever have a top lip? He always came out and talked like this.
Got that George Clooney head going.
Yeah, he sure did. I'm going to tell y'all, if y'all never seen Night Gallery, I've talked about this. Night Gallery had some real spooky shit on there, and a lot of times it left it to your imagination. And they would always get you in the mood. The beginning of this show used to scare the shit out of me. That's cheesy today, but when you were a little kid back in the 70s, that's scary.
Along with the music?
Yeah. I mean, it was very effective, man. The difference here on this particular show is that Guillermo del Toro, when he comes out, he's not like Alfred Hitchcock or even Rod Serling, man. Those guys that come out and they take their sweet ass time. They come in and set up everything. It really was about them at that moment. Watch this good shit, but look at me, this nice suit on and everything. They were cool, but they were very cool. But Guillermo del Toro is different, man. He gets in, he sets up the episode in about 30 seconds, and then he gets the hell out.
Graveyards, cemeteries. The ultimate collection is the Graveyard Rats. And its director is Vincenzo Natali.
Straightforward. Hey.
Straightforward, and pays a lot of glory to the directors. Every time he makes sure you know their name.
Yeah, he had an action figure, the director right there. I mean, he had a whole ivory chess piece dedicated to the director. I thought that was cool that he would come out and give the director a name, because those are mentioned their name, because they never did that with the other anthologies,
they did
man.
Not.
Yeah.
I appreciate that he did that with the directors, because a lot of people might be unfamiliar with them. But I just feel like he has no stage presence compared to Rod Serling, compared to Alfred Hitchcock. Like, they have a cadence that kind of made you like, oh, okay, where are we going now with this? Like, they were telling a story before we got to the story. And I feel like with this one, and not to start off negatively, but it's like he's reading off a cue card. And he's like, I know that English is not his first language, but it feels like really stilted and awkward. And where the other ones, it was like, oh shit, like they have that enunciation, that cadence, and they had the presentation. I just feel like as a host, he does not at all.
Yeah, knowing that he's not an actor, like those guys had so many more years of being in front of the camera and doing this.
Sure.
I thought, you know what, he's doing okay.
Guillermo del Toro's doing what he knows best, be me,
Yeah.
All those other people are trying to be the previous guest and whatnot. Plus, you know what? I just like the way he just waddles out the darkness, man.
I say waddle out the darkness. But he does, you're not wrong. Yeah, he has that game.
Yeah, I'm not
You're right.
Look, I'm not making fun of his weight or anything, man. He just when he comes out, I like it, man. I don't know what it is. He's just coming out the darkness with that, man. I don't know. So he's just kind of cute when he does that, man. yeah. Hello.
Talking about the cabinet. It's Monsters and Curiosities. Hello.
With this, the most interesting takes that they have here is on existing horror. What I like about this is that they, a lot of this, not all of it, but a lot of this is taking some of the horror that's been, to remind y'all, people back then, you think horror is bad today. All right, well, that's not bad, but you think that, it was graphic. It's so graphic today. Oh, people they just go so far with it today, man. People were classy back then. Nah, they let you know that people are just as demented as back then as they are now, especially with somebody like H.P. Lovecraft with his old racist ass.
It's impossible to say H.P. Lovecraft without adding with his old racist ass. Like, you just can't say it. You can't say one without the other.
You really cannot, man. But yeah, man. But hey, he be writing though. I read, to be fair, I've read a lot of H.P. Lovecraft lately, and a lot of the stuff that's been translated here to film is based on H.P. Lovecraft's work. But like I said, he's not the only one. What I admired about this is that they took horror literature from people like H.P. Lovecraft's contemporary authors. There's even one segment that was taken from a webcomic called The Outside. And the thing is, when I was watching this is called, the original name of it was Some Other Animals Meet. If you've seen the anthology series, if you've seen the show already, then you know which one I'm talking about, the episode called The Outside. I didn't when I first got into it, I thought they were all by Guillermo del Toro, or, they were written specifically for the show. There was one story that I had read just out of curiosity because I was just got caught into a rabbit hole on the internet one night. And when I watched one episode, I was like, man, I feel like I've seen this before.
Please, show me mercy.
It was the one about the rat. And when that giant rat came on, I was like, oh, this thing is so weird. I remember that story.
Oh.
Did you see this one?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. What was it called? The Graveyard Rats?
Yeah, the Graveyard.
Yeah, I actually read this. And then I read it, and it was so crazy that they have a comic that's based on it. I read that. Yeah, I was like, I've seen this shit. And that's when I went back and said, oh, are these other stories based on old literature? And like I said, a lot of them are, man. Because some of these things are classics, but if you read them, there's certain things that happen for no reason at all. Things just, something supernatural comes out of nowhere. A giant creature comes out of nowhere. What I like about it is they don't explain it. And it's just like that with the original story. You might get a little bit more explanation because there's narration to go along with the actual story. But Yeah, man. And that episode right there is very much like an episode of Creepshow.
Yes.
If you remember how it ends and whatnot. What'd you think about that episode? Or because how many did you see?
I saw 2.
You saw 2. So you saw this.
I saw the first 2. Yeah.
What were your impressions with the first 2?
I admired the aesthetics and the practical effects and even some of the CGI. I just thought that the stories were just kind of generic. I thought like the characters, like, all right, I kind of know what's going to happen to both of these individuals.
Yeah.
It's funny because they're very similar to each other.
Well,
they're both dealing with, I know that there's always a morality tale with a lot of these types of shows, and they both deal with greed. It was weird to me that they had both of these back to back, and they deal with the same exact thing.
I thought that too because they're both in a pinch because they owe money to somebody, and they say if you don't pay this money by tomorrow, you're gonna meet dire consequences.
Yeah.
And I thought it was weird that both of those were back to back.
Now it would be interesting to see what you think about the rest of it, if you even went back to it. I don't know if you would, because you probably wouldn't want to, because you saw the ones that were the shortest in length. And
they're 45 minutes. These were about like 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah, one was 38 minutes, probably shave off some of the credits, and the first one was like 40-something minutes.
Yeah.
And the first one deals with a guy who buys like a storage unit with some, has a racket going on with somebody, and there's a hidden chamber or an evil item or you know how it is, something like that, and it leads to and of course it leads to no good for those involved. The second one is deals with a grave robber who owes somebody money, and of course he goes out digging in the graves, and he's in competition with the rats because the rats steal his shit too. And he goes down there and starts wages war with the rats down there. And you can probably guess who wins that one. But those are the 2 shortest ones. The rest of them are pretty much either just below an hour or right above an hour. Now, to your point, you said because both of you were saying this, that both of those were about people owe people money. The later you get into it, they start to change tones. They start to change
stories.
stories.
As much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I figured they're all pretty different, but I was just like, just interesting. Like Chris said, that these 2 stories that have such a similar thing are the ones back to back.
Yeah. I think the reason why, because I think out of all of these, those 2 are the most straightforward too.
Okay.
If anybody's ever read any H.P. Lovecraft with his old racist ass, well, you really can't say that without saying that.
Especially when you see that picture of him.
He's looking at a black person. Right? Man, he's calling me the N-word right now.
I heard you, Corey. I might be dead, but I heard you.
You may not like the poem, but you know it's true.
Look into your black ass heart. but yeah, man. The later they go on, I would say that's when you start to get some different tones.
Right.
And as they go on, they also start to get a little more intense than the first 2, depending, of course, on what you're looking for or what gets to you. They get so intense, you might want to smoke some dad grass before you get into it.
I was like, what is the stalling for? Okay.
I want to make sure people were prepared. Yeah, man. Relax yourself before you get into there, man, because you're gonna, it's gonna be very intense. It's gonna be stressful. You get some of that dad grass up in you, man. It'll be a little more relaxing time watching these, like this guy right here.
That guy's it's working for him.
Yeah. I love this dad grass. But one of the reasons why I chose to actually have them as a sponsor of what we do here is because I don't handle THC very well, especially the highest form of THC. So that is why I like this, because dadgrass they're products that are made of 100% organic hemp, and they're CBD products. And so what that means is, it's easy to take, and the effects are just a little more mellow. Something that's more manageable. I'm on that other stuff, I am tired, I'm going to sleep. If I am staying up, I'm making sense to nobody. I'm sitting up there like that. I'm talking just like that, making no sense to anyone. With this, I can sit there and I can be just as eloquent and talk to everybody just as fluidly as if I was just in a normal state. They have a lot of products, man. Now this stuff is smooth that they got, and I like it a lot. But in addition to having pre-rolled joints. They also have hemp flour. So for those who like to make some edibles out there, you want to make some cookies or brownies or some other baked goods. I don't know if you just want to get the flour and just, you can do that. Also, they have the tinctures. Tinctures are where you take the little drop in the jar and take it out and just drop it on your tongue. And again, I don't like to have, listen, I'll do it, but I don't like a whole lot of smoke in my body because I got asthma. So the tinctures are the best thing for me. And believe me, I've had them and they are good. Show you what they look like. There you go. There you go, like little drops. You know what I'm talking about. So if you want to be able to enjoy products like these, but also keep a clear head, then go ahead and try some dadgrass. I'm gonna give you another reason to do this, not only just because it's just a nice mellow feeling, but you can even feel better knowing that I can get you 20% off your first order. If you go to dadgrass.com/toasted, you'll get 20% off your first order when you use that code. Sit down and watch Cabinet of Curiosities with no stress, feeling all mellow. And I want to thank Dadgrass for sponsoring this portion of the show, and I want to thank all of you out there for your support. All right, let's go ahead and get on with continue with this review. So I can't ask y'all this because, I guess I can. How'd you feel about the lengths of the episodes that you saw so far?
Well, the ones I saw, the first two, they were a great length. Third one felt a little longish.
Did it?
Just like a while to get to where, it needed to go.
What about you, Chris?
I didn't mind the length of the first two episodes.
Yeah.
The ones I saw. That was fine. That wasn't my issues with them.
Okay. Because they do get longer. Those first two episodes, those are the shortest you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From there, like I said, you better be prepared to stay an hour or so. Those first two, just fine. I thought they were perfectly timed. Another one, I could see how it could be picked up a little faster than when you're talking about.
It's just somewhere in the middle. It felt like it was kind of being kind of repetitive.
And maybe it's because I knew that story and what they were doing. They were trying to put everything in there from that.
Yeah,
but, I still feel like I understand what you're talking about. But, man, once they start getting to the length of an hour, I ain't going to lie. I can feel it. I was like, look, these are episodes where most of them end with monsters, and I'm just like, man, we don't need to be here an hour for that. We can definitely speed this up a little bit. And maybe it's just the nature of some of the stories. Like, listen, one of the problems I have reading H.P. Lovecraft is that this fool describes everything. It takes a long time to get to where we need to go. It's very wordy. So maybe it's translating over into the episodes, especially with his. But then there's some others where, he didn't write that episode, and I still feel the same way. That last episode,
the finale.
The finale, man. The finale with Andrew Lincoln. What was that called? The Murmurs, I believe. And now I would say this, that where the length is definitely felt as far as telling the story, it does give these actors a lot of things to do, man. It gives these actors gives them a lot of time to perform.
Yeah, it's true.
Very
physical roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or by the time now, if at the beginning, it does feel sort of tales to the cryptish, tales from the cryptish.
Yeah, but the way it's set up, the framing sequence with Guillermo del Toro coming out of the shadows and introducing it, I was like, yeah, of course it's going to be tales from the crypt.
Yeah, but after a while, some of those start to lose that feeling.
Oh, really?
And they start to take on certain other tones, like the one that Andrew Lincoln is in. That one's more of a ghost story. Mm-hmm. And when I talk about the performances, man, I did feel the length on that because it's him and his wife. Who's I forgot her name, man. Essie Davis. They play a married couple. They had a tragedy in their life, and a lot of that is kind of repetitive. It's him. It's like them. It's them going through the motions, and then he tries to. It's a lot of it of him getting shot down by her when he tries to have sex, to the point where it was either third or fourth time. I was like, she's not gonna man, stop, because she says everything. I'm tired. I got a headache.
Yeah,
I don't feel like it, and it's him just getting mad every time. And I'm just like, man, we need to. I know what's going to happen. This is getting repetitive and predictable. But I will say this. There are moments, though, where I was like, even though I feel like it's long, those actors are getting a chance to really, really, really tear into this material. and really do some good acting with it. Andrew Lincoln was great. I mean, him and Essie Davis were very good, man.
How am I ever supposed to help you if you never tell me anything?
Because whenever I tell you anything, it's never what you want to hear.
All right.
He's like, but I want to have to do anything.
keep going.
yeah, sure. She started this bullshit again.
I'm with you for right now.
I just want some ass, you know. So, maybe people have seen Andrew Lincoln in something else, but this is the first time I've seen him in a long time where it sounds like he doesn't have rocks in his mouth.
Yeah, it's hard. Like you telling me that's him, I'm taking your word for it. But
yeah,
I'm picturing Rick Grimes.
Yeah,
that's what I hear every time I see him.
But I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow, that is him.
Yeah.
That's him.
He's enunciating.
Yeah, exactly.
I can understand the words.
And it doesn't sound like he reached in the ground and put a big bunch of gravel in his mouth. Where Carl at? You know, I was like, nothing wrong with Rick from The Walking Dead. You know, he's a legendary character right now. I'm for the people.
I know, yeah, that's fair.
But I'm just saying that here it was great to see him do something different. Both of them were awesome, man. Some of these things the reason why I might be feeling the length in these stories is because I'm binging this. I'm watching this one after another. I was
thinking that also, because when you were like, man, the length, you could feel it there an hour. I was like, oh, an hour is kind of standard. But if when you're binging something and you got a timetable, it does make you go like, you feel it extra.
Yeah.
I would still say, I'll split the difference here. I still think some of these would work better as 45, 50-minute episodes instead of going a full hour, 40-minute episodes. I really think they could have trimmed a little bit. But also, man, listen, I'm watching this one after another on 3 hours of sleep. I mean, everybody gonna get tired of that shit after a while, you know? Yeah. And also, even with the part that has Andrew Lincoln in it, man, the pacing, I could make an argument that the pacing works well for that because that one is more of a ghost story. Mm-hmm. And so a slower pace as things are revealed in his home, secrets are revealed about who lived there before. You know, that could benefit from the pacing also. However, I'll give this a lot of credit for being able to just have different tones, man. Not only in their look, but also in their storytelling. But as far as the look goes, man, a lot of these are period pieces. And the attention for a TV show, the attention they paid to detail for these different period pieces, they go all around. Most of them look like they take place, early 19th century, around the early 1900s, maybe late 1800s or something. But also, a lot of these episodes are timeless because even with some of the more contemporary episodes, there's not a whole lot of technology,
right?
Yeah. Not a whole lot of jargon. Isn't it? It's not dated by any kind of tech or references.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool if they did that, man. But also in addition to just the different looks, which the production on this is great, man. The different looks that each one of these has is part of the character, but also just some of the storytelling tones are different. Some of these are very serious. Some of these are more, again, like a Tales from the Crypt episode or a comic book. Some of these are actually pretty comedic. There's one called The Outside. I already mentioned that one. That's the one from the webcomic. It has one of the girls from Garfunkel and Oates. Do you remember them?
Yeah.
And she's actually really great in this, man. But this one is definitely meant to be a lot more funny than it is scary or serious.
I'm with him.
Step out of your skin and into your hollow glow.
Yeah, that's Dan Stevens in there. Even though, man, there are even little small details in there, like the way Dan Stevens says this girl's name. He's supposed to be like a overly pretentious British guy, and the way he says her name, Stuffy, when he's talking on the screen. This one deals with a woman's obsession with skin lotion and trying to fit in. That goes a little bit too far, and the girl that's in it, Kate Micucci, and Martin Starr from Spider-Man is in there. Everybody's hilarious in this, man. What I really love is Kate Micucci, man. I hope I'm saying her name right, but just the way she, because I'd be real offensive if I'm not, but she's
I think that's how you say it.
Okay, I hope so. But man, the way she transformed herself physically for this, man, like they gave her a lazy eye and all that stuff. It was pretty hilarious, man, and I liked that one. I liked that one a lot. Episode 8, the finale, where it has Andrew Lincoln and what's her name? Essie Davis, man. That one's a lot more sad than it is scary or gory. And it does have some scary moments in there. But I just thought that this one, the way they ended it, where it was just kind of like, this is more of a human story.
Yeah.
Out of all these stories about monsters and, and body horror and gory things and, cosmic terror and all that, this one was really about human beings, man. And I thought that was a great way to end the finale. I thought about you for episode 7.
Yeah.
You know which one that is?
I didn't see it.
Oh, well, I thought you might have heard about it. That is from the director Panos Cosmatos.
Okay.
You know him?
No.
That's the director of Mandy.
Oh, I love Mandy.
I was hoping you would have seen this one or skipped it or something because you know how crazy Mandy is?
Yes.
Mandy is that movie with Nicolas Cage
yes.
where he's looking for his girlfriend out in some apocalyptic 80s fluorescent wasteland. That dude brought the same aesthetic to this.
Oh, okay.
This is probably the craziest episode that they have. I heard that this one actually has people divided because people are like, what the is this? And some other people.
No, that makes sense because Mandy is that. All of his work are like that.
This one is crazy, and I'll tell you why after you see this, man. But the look of it, I thought was actually pretty brilliant.
Tonight I'm going to gift you innate transcendence.
That's one with Eric Andre and
Sophia Boutella,
Peter Weller.
Oh, okay.
RoboCop is up in there, man. RoboCop is in high as hell through the whole thing, man. Yeah, this one's weird because this one is definitely more of a character piece than it is hard driven until the end. And when they get to the end, it's out there. Sure. It's insane.
Sure.
But this one is pretty cool because it takes place in '79, but it feels like an '80s movie.
Yeah.
It has a lot of synth music. You can see the colors and everything that they're using. Yeah, you definitely see Mandy in there, right?
100%. Yeah.
I'm on board with this one because I thought that this one definitely kept me interested. Like I didn't know what was going to happen at all. When you're watching this, they're definitely centering more on the cast, but that cast is doing a lot of crazy stuff before they get there. And also people like, this is what I liked about these episodes. Like I said, it gives them a chance to act. Like Eric Andre is not being the Eric Andre. Like he's not tearing up that set and running around, acting a fool. Like he's really acting. He's very good. I don't know how this is going to appeal to a lot of people who do watch things like Creepshow and, Tales from the Hood and stuff like that. This is some of this is definitely, monster driven, it was a little more mainstream. And then some of this is just very offbeat to the point of just being crazy. But I enjoyed it, man. This is why I like anthologies because I like the way it offers you just different things.
Sure,
variety.
Yeah, and I don't think all of them. That's the downside of anthologies is that they're just not going to work for everybody, and everybody's going to have their favorite, and everybody's going to have the ones they hate or just don't like as much as the other, and it's going to differ between everybody. But that being said, do I think it's worth giving it a watch? Yes, I do very much. All of these are very interesting. I can guarantee you this. Yeah, you might not like where it's going, but you will wonder where it is going the whole time. And sometimes it's like I said, sometimes it ends in a way that you pretty much would imagine. I can guarantee you there's going to be a couple or 3 that you're not going to know where the hell this is going. Thinking about that after watching all 8 of them, I would give this. And this is the problem of an anthology because all of them don't work for me. I can't go full price. The length that I told you didn't work for me, but maybe it'll work for somebody else. But I give this a high matinee. Great to watch for Halloween. And the cool thing about it, if you don't like one, just move on to the next one. I'm sure there's going to be at least one you like. You know what I mean? It's just one. And if you've read any H.P. Lovecraft or are familiar with any of these stories, you're going to want to watch this to see how they handle the translation. Like I said, I saw that rat one. I thought, man, they did a good enough job with that I remember reading that. And I forgot I read that story.
Interesting.
If it's not your thing, I understand. Anthologies are not for everybody.
I can only speak to the ones I saw. The third one, I thought, well, this is okay. First one I really liked a lot. I liked it more than I thought I would. And Tim Blake Nelson is great. And I love they gave the character, especially his character, a lot of detail. Even though it doesn't come into play, it was a lot that enriched his character, what he was. And it had some moments where he's being chased and he turned the corner and that thing was right there. And I yelled out loud. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, because I glanced at it. I didn't read it fully. Just glanced at a review that was like, this is really well done. It's not always scary. So I wasn't expecting it to be scary, but that did make me jump.
They had a Resident Evil moment in there.
Yeah. But that Rats Graveyard or Graveyard Rats, I love that one. David Hewlett just through that whole thing, him screaming. And
I knew you were going to say that.
and getting into shit. He just kept getting deeper. But I love that he was completely terrified of rats and claustrophobic, but he was still like...
He's so greedy.
But well, it went from being he's so greedy to he goes, if I don't do this, they are going to kill me. They're going to lock me in a coffin. They're going to bury me alive. Yeah. Like his back was against the wall where it wasn't just about greed. It was like, I got no choice. Now later, greed was his undoing because he should have got his shit and got out of there. But I had the best time watching that one.
Yeah, that one was, let me see. Yeah, that one was pretty hilarious because he would get trapped.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh God, oh please. He sounded like Dr. Smith from Lost in Space.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh no. He's very eloquent.
2 episodes I saw, because I think they are predictable, which is not a bad thing at all. That's fine. You can be predictable as long as everything else really works. Tim Blake Nelson's weird because I think he's a fantastic actor. But I felt like his even though they had those details, it just felt like throughout the entire episode, he's like, all right, let's go. I don't give a shit about all this demon shit. It's like, I just want to move. How much are you going to pay me? All right? And it was not until the very end, it's like, oh shit, it's real. And I'm like, that's funny.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, but then, in the next one, again, I think it was just weird that they had both of them back to back. And they're both dealing with the same thing, even though different sets and production design and everything. But I just like the rat one as well, where it just escalated because like, all right, what's going to happen next? You got regular rats, you got this monstrous thing, and then there's a whole other things here. Okay, and so, but even though I'm like, okay, I know exactly how this is going to end. I think after these first 2, it was like, all right, I think I'm good. Maybe I'll go back to this show.
Surprisingly, I am, and and it was weird for me because to look at it, I think, all right, there's so many things about this that normally wouldn't excite me. I'm like, yeah, horror anthologies, they're going to be, they're never consistently where everything's great. Yeah. And a lot of times they kind of start to blend into each other. But the more I kept looking at this was like, wow, the production on it is amazing. Yes. I'm actually excited to watch these. What is this happening? I really want to. I want to see more of this.
Hey, look, I binged this tired as hell, and there was a moment I said I gotta take a nap, and then I made the mistake of watching a little bit of the next one, and then I couldn't cut it off.
Yeah,
and I want to know where it goes. You need to watch the one from the director Mandy. Yeah, if you go back and watch nothing else, watch that one.
Honestly, the one that you described that has me interested the most is the finale. That sounds the best out of all of these, then.
Yeah, you should. At least for me, you should give it a watch.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Watch it because you love. Watch the other one because you love Mandy, and then watch this one to see what you think. This one has more of a. It's very sad in a way.
Yeah,
it's bittersweet. Mm-hmm. Also has more of a feel like from like a Haunting of Hill House or something.
Okay, yeah, it's more melancholy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so yeah, you should definitely watch that. That one actually didn't scare me. It actually made me very sad. There's a part in here I was like, oh man,
yeah,
I would almost tear up crying at this part. Mm-hmm. This is so sad, right? Because that's to do with children and whatnot. So yeah,
Interesting.
And if y'all want to watch something funny, I would say watch that comedic episode with the girl from Garfunkel and Oates. But man, this dude right here had me laugh. Really did. Boy, he was telling somebody because they were saying, "Look, you need to give me my money, but you don't understand. The rats, they're stealing from me. They're taking all my stuff. If it weren't for them, oh blessed, if it weren't for them, I would pay you today, but I can't." And dude's just like, man. Man, he's sniveling.
Yeah.
When he had it all set up to get the gold teeth, and the other guy's like, "You gotta wait till he's in the ground," and he opens that casket, and the body was already gone. I'm like,